Welcome to Books to Better Your Life. I'm so glad you're here. In this podcast, you'll find practical tips, quick recaps, and doable challenges inspired by some of the most impactful personal development books. You'll also get a behind-the-scenes look through author interviews, discovering the journeys and insights that shape their work. I'm Ann Brinkman, a habit and mindset coach who loves helping people find the tools that fit them and to get them started on the life they want. Ready to dive in? Today we're talking about Mel Robbins' book, The 5-Second Rule. Transform your life, work, and confidence with everyday courage. Amazon indicates nearly 2 million copies sold. Now, you might have seen the Mel Robbins book that everyone has been talking about lately. Well, this isn't it. That one is called The Let Them Theory. Go pick that one up too. It's been out just over a year, and so my current rule that I have for my podcast is not to do a recap until a book's been out for 2 years. So many clients have shared about reading the Let Them Theory book and have put really great things in practice and changed many aspects of their lives. And so I'm excited to share this book because this one came before it. And I would say we wouldn't even know about Mel Robbins without what she created and wrote this book about. So this book is called The 5-Second Rule. You might think this is talking about the rule where you drop some food on the floor and how long you have before you can still eat it and not be judged. That is totally unrelated. Now, I love this book, this strategy, because it's so simple. I might say there doesn't really need to be a book around it because you can get the idea in a paragraph or 30 seconds. But sometimes you need a full book to make you believe that an idea is worth considering. Or you might say, this is too simple, that's not going to work. And that simplicity, I think that's where the beauty lies. And so it goes back to when Mel Robbins was at a pretty low time in her life. She describes it as rock bottom. She was trying to get the motivation to do something. And actually, sometimes it was even getting out of bed in the morning. And for those of you who struggle with doing something, maybe it's getting out of bed, stopping doom scrolling, doing that thing you've been meaning to do forever and it's hanging over your head. The reality often is you don't think it should be a big challenge. When you think about it, it's not really a big deal. But let's not lie. There's a reason you haven't done it. And I think those challenges are the hardest to get over because we don't think they should be a big deal. And then we add that judgment of ourselves when it isn't instant, when we aren't doing it. And then guess what? We're still in bed. So let's talk about the strategy. And literally I can describe the 5-second rule in less than 30 seconds. So she had this idea, I think maybe she had watched a rocket launch. And her strategy mimics a rocket launch. That countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. So she decided one day when she was in that wavering of get up or not to try it. And she chose to actually do the action she wanted when the countdown was done. So she started trying that for herself. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and she'd go do the thing. And what I think is genius about this technique is that it stops you from considering the thoughts your brain might offer. The countdown shifts from thinking, feeling, to just doing. Because where we can get stuck is in that thinking. Suddenly, you're dealing with a master negotiator, a genius lawyer, and by this I mean your brain. Your brain is suddenly the most convincing about not doing something. Your brain is going to play hardball and stop you from doing anything new. And that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to keep you alive. And doing what you've always done is often likely to keep you alive. So in those moments of choosing if we do something new, this is a way to bypass our tendency not to do the thing. You don't have to feel like it. In fact, likely you won't. And so what I've learned from my clients is it's really important that you actually commit to doing the thing. The choice needs to be made before you do the countdown. It's not I'm going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and then see what happens. I'm going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and see if I feel like it. No, that loses its whole power. The whole power is in the buildup and the decision that's made before you even start. That reminds me of a strategy I use as I'm getting back into running. If I take a break during a run, I choose that point on the block to start running again. And it's up to me to actually stick to that and see, okay, when I see that lamppost or stop sign, I'm actually going to start running again. And if I wait and choose in that moment, if I do, it's not going to happen. I have to keep the promise to myself to do that thing, in that case, to start the running again. And there is a little bit of that idea of keeping a promise to yourself that this can really reinforce. Often when we are in those procrastination cycles, avoidance cycles, we might feel a little let down by ourselves, we can't trust ourselves. And so this is also a way to build that back up, way to build in that belief in ourselves. Oh, I can say I'm going to do something and actually do it, especially with this strategy behind me. Now, there's a couple differences between my strategy and Mel Robbins's. In hers, there's counting involved. It's counting down with that assumption of action after one. You might need to see that blast off, or you might enjoy saying that blast off for full effect. Counting also can distract you from whatever your mind might be presenting you. And as I see from being a coach, there might be no need for coaches if people didn't have thoughts getting in the way. So they can literally be your own worst enemy, and often are. And the longer you think on something, the lower your urge to act becomes. Our brain starts giving reasons not to do it immediately for things especially that are new, scary, uncertain. So just stop the barrage of negative thoughts. When the action is fast, there isn't time for that nonsense going on. More room to think about more joyful things rather than fear or worry. And she even recommends that as soon as you have an idea about doing something, you put that into action rather than, well, yeah, I can do that later, or let me think about it. Not act on it once you have that idea. Do your countdown and just take the moment and just take that action. And she describes it as a bias towards action. Lots of psychological principles that she describes rolled into one. And again, it's so simple. Literally 5 seconds. But because this is how we are, she gives you 229 pages to prove you should try it. She highlights a lot of examples that readers shared, again, reinforcing to you as you're in that brain mode of, do I do this or not? So literally this whole book is a reason for the just taking 5 seconds, right? Rather than the hour or 2 hours it might take to read this book. Don't spend that much time, just go do the thing. So some examples she shared from readers are wanting to ask someone for a date and not telling someone they're amazing, asking someone for a raise. Michelangelo is a great example. Sounds like he actually had a lot of self-doubt. He fled to Florence, and maybe he wouldn't have even done it if the Pope hadn't cajoled him into it. Steve Jobs was going to wait until he was ready to launch Apple. So lots of these amazing examples of what people created, and they could have easily not created them because of their brains getting in the way. And so she also has examples of people who didn't think it through. Rosa Parks was at that point that she probably wasn't thinking anymore about if she should give up her seat or not. She just did it. She made a split-second decision and stuck with it. I think we here really benefited from her choice in that moment and her not taking time to consider the pros and cons. And so this is really a tool that creates behavior change. And with behavior change, that can change your self-perception. And changing that self-perception is that snowball effect. Some recommendations she has to trying this out is setting your alarm 30 minutes earlier, using that 5-second rule and getting out of bed. Do something like that can change your whole day. It's going to help you feel like you can do things. That's not necessarily where you want to start. That's one option. She has so many tips to try out. I really recommend you pick the book up so you can see which ones are the best tips for you. Another example is part of her morning routine. She plans a quitting time. She mentions Parkinson's law, that work expands to whatever time you give it. And with that in mind, choosing up front how much time you want to give it. And using, again, that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 blast off rule to quit work. Kind of the opposite of starting or stopping something. Wherever the urge is to do something else, this can come into play. So lots of different ways it can be put into place, even with that simplicity. I'm curious what ways you find to introduce it into your life and what impact it makes for you. Shoot me a message. I'd love to hear. Thanks for listening to Books to Better Your Life. If you could use some support on your own personal growth journey, please reach out. I'm an ICF certified life coach, and I help my clients with habits, mindset, confidence, and making what they want happen. I'm Ann Brinkman, and you can find me at www.betteryour.life. That's .life, not .com. Choose the contact option to send me a message and schedule a chat.